Hey everybody, how are you? This is Mike Zagari with Go Physical Therapy and Wellness, and in today's video we're going to be talking all about plateauing. Now, what is plateauing? Plateauing is when you're doing exercises, you've done them for a long time, you've maybe done the same exercises, and then all of a sudden you're simply not getting the same results that you were getting before. In physical therapy standards, that's a cause for discharge for us, because if a patient's plateauing and no longer making functional progress, then we can no longer justify having physical therapy for that particular person. So why does plateauing occur, and how can we stop it from occurring? Well, basically plateauing occurs when the person's not being challenged like they should be. So basically what's happened is they've started, let's say, over here, which is their baseline, and they're doing an exercise initially, and right off the bat, there's initially an alarm stage where they're adjusting to that exercise. They may get a little fatigued. There's increased oxygen demand. They may have muscle soreness and fatigue, and that's where this little dip is, right initially. But as the person does that task, they go to the resistance stage, and they actually start to develop strength and make a lot of improvements. So that's a good thing. We'll do an exercise here and try to get the person better through exercise, and as they get used to it, then they're climbing up the ladder. Here's where the issue occurs. If they are doing the same exercise and not changing the stressor or making it more challenging, varying the task in any manner, then they go into what's called the exhaustion phase. And here you could actually see them actually start to decline in that particular task. Now, this also occurs if you do the task way too much, which we typically don't have that problem with our senior patients. We typically try to promote doing exercises as often as possible. But also you can see here that if they're not being challenged in a particular exercise, then they may start to go down this path as well. So let's use the exercise, let's use sit-to-stands as an example. Let's say, initially we start to do a simple set of 10 sit-to-stands, or we start to do it until the person gets tired. And initially it's very difficult for them, and they may have a little bit of soreness the next day. Their performance isn't the best for the first week or two. But then as time goes on, as the therapy sessions go on, they start to get better and better and better, and before you know it, 10 is very simple, maybe 15 is getting a lot easier, and they're doing the task very well. So they're climbing up this ladder here. If we don't make that task somewhat more difficult by adding some kind of element to it to make it more challenging, you can increase the speed. You can have the person do a cognitive task like counting. You can have the person hold weight. You can decrease the speed, have them do it a little bit slower. Whatever that change might be to add an additional stress, then they're going to start to slowly adapt to that stress and start to sort of decline or plateau. And that's where you get the plateau, the flattening out. Okay, so they may not decline as much as they may plateau, and then we get the issue of the patient's plateauing and they can no longer have physical therapy. So as you can see, at this point, we want to add an additional stress. Maybe go back into the alarm stage, make it a little bit harder, and then let the person adapt to that. And then once they get to that plateau, then you want to add another additional stress. So the main key takeaway with this video is exercise is fantastic, it's phenomenal, but it's so easy to get set in our ways and to keep doing the same things day in and day out. And while that's better than nothing, you're probably not going to go too far down. You're going to start to plateau. And we want to make your strength as good as possible, your balance as good as possible. We want to improve or increase the amount of reserve that you have in your tank. And the best way to do that is to stop a plateau when you notice it and make it more challenging. And we can help you do that at any time. And if you have any questions about how you can stop the plateau effect, feel free to email me anytime or leave me a message. Again, this is Mike Zagari, and I am wishing you a fantastic day. Have a great one.